I've got some mystery paints and I want to see what they do. I received a fun little gift last time I was back home in my hometown, and it's this little shell here, and my friend's daughter found the shell, painted it with some gold accents, and put some fun watercolors in here. And if they told me what these are, I forget. So I thought it would be fun to do some of my spooky little Halloween paintings with these mystery paints just to see how they behave. So I'm starting off by using this brownish color, and it looks like it is a bit of a granulating color. When I mix it in the well, it creates this mix of like gray and brown and blue. It's almost like a old copper penny. And I think that's a really, really neat effect. When I work on the wreath portion of this painting, you can kind of see the gradient of colors. It's not super prominent here, but it's still an interesting effect when you look up close. Now I'm going to grab this burnt orange color that is in the shell here. And it doesn't look like it's granulating, but well, it might be a little difficult to see on camera. There is a bit of sparkle to it, so I'll do my best to kind of zoom in and see that effect. For right now, I'm just going to layer some clouds on my little landscape here, and I'm going to add some leaves to my wreath. And what I'll do is I'm going to layer on top of the lighter clouds and onto the lighter leaves to add some dimension and fullness to the scene here. So you can kind of see after some time sitting in my ceramic well that bluish, grayish, brownish color is having some sort of like oxidization effect, and you can see those colors really separating. And I think the painting, as time goes by, you start to see that a little bit more as well. So I'm just starting to add on to my scene here. I'm going to do some shading for the pumpkin, trying to leave a little bit of white space there. I'm starting to layer over the moon here. I just want to create this kind of layering effect where the clouds are moving across the moon and they're in various positions in front of each other. Maybe a couple of clouds behind the moon. Now that this is starting to dry and the paint has a darker layer on it, you can start to see that shimmering effect in the paint now. So I really do like sparkly paints. I have a few different kinds of kind of like metallic watercolors and some sparkle watercolors. I have some great glitter watercolors that I got from some Etsy sellers, and I'm sure you will see those come out during my Christmas cards. I always tend to use those and lean towards those. So I've never used this one before. It's definitely subtler than some of the other paints that I have, and I like that. You really have to kind of zoom in here and look closely to see that shimmering effect, but in person it's really, really nice. So I actually, for the stem of this pumpkin, just mix some of that granulating brownish blue with my burnt orange. I just wanted to see how they reacted together. The granulation kind of tones down when I mix that paint with the burnt orange. It just makes a nice brown there. And now I'm just adding a little ground so that my pumpkins aren't floating in space. I'm just making a little foreground here so you can get some sense of the distance between the hill with the pumpkins and the sky. I want to make sure to add some darker shadows here just to make sure I've got extra dimension and the piece isn't looking flat. I'll be interested to see once it's fully dry how light it's going to dry, because some pigments dry super light. I have a feeling that this is going to stay kind of dark. And just one last little layer of darker pigment. I just want to see what that darkest value is going to look like and how much the glitter is going to show up on my canvas here when it's done. Here's what it looks like when it's dry. I'm going to try and get close up here so you can see the sparkly effect of that paint. And you may be able to see a little bit of the granulation of the brownish blue, but you'll see it a little bit more. I'm going to try another painting with a full scene. I've tried 2 of the 3 paints so far. I have a beautiful dark blue that I'm really excited to try. So I'm going to try another painting with the granulating blue-brown paint. I really like the effect of it, but I want to see if I can showcase more of the properties of that paint. I have this dark blue, and on the ceramic palette, it's a really beautiful blue. I love this. It kind of has a gothic feel to it. So this time when I do the wreath, instead of leaves, I'm going to go ahead and make some tiny roses here. So I think having a castle scene blending this blue with the brown will have kind of that very similar tone to it. So I've got these spindly branches, and now I'm just going to make these tiny roses by just kind of starting in the center, making some tiny dots and marks, and then making staggering lines around the dots. And it's almost like I'm making like little lines around and then just kind of, you know, pushing it out a little bit with this tiny brush to make little petals. So you get the impression of roses. It's not a super realistic rose, but you can see that they're implied roses there. So I'm going to lay down a wash of the blue on the sky here and also on the water. And I'm going to just start dark and then just kind of squiggle my brush down so it's a little bit lighter for the lake here. And then while the water's still wet, I'm going to take this brown granulating paint and I'm going to simulate a reflection of the building onto the water. So wherever the tiny little buildings are, I'm casting a little shadow here to create that reflection. And this is really where you see the granulating watercolor shine here. You can see that it's breaking apart that paint on the water and creating a really nice effect there. I'm also going to use this granulating color on the buildings as well, and I'm going to start light and then I'm going to layer and continue to layer on as it continues to dry. I've also got some fine details with the rocks and the ground and just really creating that kind of coastline where the water meets the land. I'm going to continue to add layers to my background, adding another wash of the darker blue, adding some mountains here, maybe a dark one in front and a lighter one in the back, just to show, again, some depth and dimension to that painting. One of the things I'm trying to do more in my paintings is push the values just a little bit more. So as I continue to layer, I'm adding a lot of layers because I really want to make some of those darks really dark and the lights really light. And I think the more I keep practicing with pushing values, the more I feel like my paintings are coming to life. So this is the finished castle painting, and I think I really like how it turned out. I really love this blue color. I can't wait to think of some other uses to use that blue, because I think that this combination too of the granulating paints and the blue just creates this really nice mood. And it really fits in with the spooky season too, so I think now was a good time to try out these paints. What do you think? Which one was your favorite? Do you like the monochromatic pumpkin, or do you like the blue and brown granulating paints? I think the castle's my favorite. There's just a lot more detail to it, and I think it just really came together. But with the pumpkins, I can't wait to make some more sparkly pieces with that burnt orange too. So all in all, 3 really great colors that weren't in my collection that I can use for future projects, and I'm so very excited about that. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried any paints like this, or if you'd be interested to try now that you've seen some of the cool effects that they have. With that, I'll go ahead and say goodbye for now. Bye-bye.